Thank you for joining us, Kevin. Let me make you a co-host and then you can take it away.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sarah. I guess after all this crazy Zoom stuff, I guess I'm glad to say that the lobby day is not virtual again. Because if this happened on the lobby day last year with all the virtual meetings, I probably would be losing my mind right now. But so very sorry for the technical difficulties, but I really appreciate the time and really appreciate you guys having me on. So let me see if I can start by sharing my screen here. And I just wanted to just go over a couple of things in regards to some information. So let me figure out what's going on here. So I'm going to try to share my screen. And let's see. All right. So can everyone see my PowerPoint presentation?
Yes.
Excellent. Good. So again, my name is Kevin Paulsen. I am the Eastern District Legislative Liaison for APTA New York. And again, I really appreciate you guys having me on. I just wanted to talk to you about some advocacy efforts that we have going on coming up very soon. And I was hoping that everyone on this meeting could join me. I would love to have everyone come and have a great day. So what is Lobby Day? So basically, what Lobby Day is, it's an opportunity to talk with your legislators about different issues relevant to physical therapy. So we have a New York Lobby Day that'll be coming up in April. And there are also other APTA events. There are some federal ones that you would go down to Washington, D.C. and try to make contact with your federal legislators, but this one is going to be focused more on the state level. Now, when is it? It's April 26th, 2023. The meetings are going to be all day long. So we're going to hope to see if people can only make a certain part of the day. We're really going to hope to see if we can schedule those meetings with your legislators during those windows that you could be available. Where is it at? It is at the Legislative Office Building and Capitol Building down in Albany. We'll tell you where to park, tell you where to go. And again, meetings will be in person this year. And after seeing my wonderful technical skills, this will probably be a relief to many people, including myself. Um, so again, we're going to be basically, we're going to try to bring on 4 topics that we're going to try to discuss. So those 4 topics, one's going to be related to better direct access. We're going to also talk about lessening burdensome co-payments. We're going to talk about physical therapist assistants and their access to workers' compensation clients. And we're also going to bring our opposition to bills which would broaden the practice scope of athletic trainers. So let me just go into each of those items just a little bit. So right now, currently, there's some restrictions on our direct access bill. So currently in New York State, you have 10 visits or 30 days before your client needs to go see their physician. So what we're trying to let people know is that there's better direct access across the nation. Really, New York is one of the last states with some of these restrictions. So we're trying to let people know that there really is no downside to taking away a lot of these restrictions. So everyone knows that physical therapists are now, well, not everyone, we know that physical therapists are graduating with doctoral degrees. And so a lot of these restrictions really aren't necessary. I mean, you guys know how to differentially diagnose. You guys know when to send people on to other care providers. So it's really unnecessary. So one provision in the bill will maintain that we still maintain contact with their medical team, with the client's medical team, but we feel like that's probably good practice really for anybody. So we're also here to try to lessen burdensome co-payments. So unfortunately, some of the insurance companies have deemed us as specialists. So as great as that sounds, it's really not great for our clients, because what happened, they now give us these specialist co-payments. So we have people coming in paying $50 or $60 each visit for their therapy, when really that's a very burdensome cost to someone who has to come in maybe 2 or 3 times a week. A lot of these other specialists, say if you go see a neurosurgeon or you go see a cardiologist, you'll see that specialist maybe once or twice a year. So even though that $60 is a burdensome co-payment, you're only doing it twice a year. You're not doing it twice in a week. So we're going to try to talk to our legislators about changing that designation so that we're paid and our co-payments are more even to what you would pay your primary doctor. So, and the other issue that we really have with this is a lot of insurance companies, they're telling these people to pay these specialist co-payments like $50, $60, yet they're only reimbursing us maybe $55. So they're really, the client is really covering almost the entire cost of the physical therapy, which again, really is not proper. We're also trying to add physical therapist assistant access to workers' compensation. So the rules for workers' compensation were edited several years ago. And unfortunately, the physical therapist assistant position was not written into the final draft. So we're trying to get that changed so that someone who has workers' compensation can see physical therapist assistants, because that will really allow us to have more therapists available to them to get them better. Unfortunately, we had this bill passed twice through both houses of the legislative, and then unfortunately it was vetoed by Governor Cuomo. Especially after the second one, we were very disappointed because we really tried to kind of educate the executive branch, yet for some reason he still vetoed it. So we're one of the only states in the nation to have this type of restriction, and we're trying to change that. Also, we're trying to oppose expansion of practice scope for athletic trainers. So the bill that they have currently on the floor, or I'm not sure on the floor, but in the committees, is that they're trying to really greatly broaden the scope of the practice for athletic trainers. And currently their education level is only a bachelor's degree. So they really don't have as much training in differential diagnosis. And it's really one of those things where they just don't have the background that we do as far as their medical training. So we feel like athletic trainers have a great place in healthcare. They do a great job working with athletes, especially working with injured athletes, but they don't have that broad scope of therapy background that we do, which would allow them to work in different rehab clinics and things like that. So we're really opposed to this bill because we feel like it's really infringing on the type of work that we do. The bill that they did have on in the committees is stating that they're there to protect. It's about enhanced protection of athletes, but when you go into more of the bill, it also really broadens their scope of practice to pretty much do anything in the healthcare system as long as it's under a doctor's supervision or under a doctor's connection. So this bill did pass the House last year, but we were able to, with our advocacy efforts, to shoot it down. Now, what happens during these lobby day meetings? So basically, you're going to be matched with a legislator if you live in the state. So you'll hopefully be matched with your legislator, obviously. And then if you're not from this state, you can obviously come and go to your legislator from Troy, your legislators, and meet with them. So you'll be paired with a seasoned therapist who has done this before. You're more than welcome to talk, though. Now, sometimes too, I've had the question, why should I show up to these meetings if I'm not going to talk or if I'm not really going to do anything? The one thing I always try to emphasize to people is that the best way we can have our voices heard is if we all try to show up. So as much as I would love to speak to a state legislator and just start screaming at them so they really hear what I'm saying, the best way they're going to really listen to us if we show up to these meetings with several people. One of the first questions they ask is, are you a constituent? Do you live in my district? And sometimes the answer is no, I'm there on my own. It'd be great if I could have some constituents there so that they really listen to what we're saying. So the more people show up, the louder our voices is heard, even if you don't say a word. So it's very important. Show up, and again, voices are heard much more loudly. We had some victories last year. We did have a PTA licensure bill that became law. Hopefully this will help with our PTA connection to workers' compensation clients. And we also had an opioid bill passed that was promoting conservative medical treatments like physical therapy rather than opioid prescriptions. So a lot of the times I tell people too, like, we need to keep lobbying, we need to keep showing up every year, because we want to make sure that these issues are brought up every year. So the initial direct access bill that I mentioned before, that wasn't done just in 1 year. That was done over really many years. And eventually that was passed. And now we're many years later trying to further that down the road. You can sign up at this website here through APTA New York. Remember, you do not have to be an APTA New York member. So it's one of those things where, again, we would love to have you sign up and show up. And again, it's a really great way you can advocate for your profession and really make sure that that doctoral degree really means a lot moving into the future. There's also an APTA legislative app that you can also download, and it can really help you stay abreast of any state or federal issues that are going on, and really help you advocate for your profession at multiple levels. That's just a quick overview. I just wanted to really thank you guys for all your time here. Does anyone have any questions, concern? Is there anything I can do to rally the troops and get you guys down to Albany? I would love to, like I said, really love to see as many people there as I can. I'll put on my pom-poms and my cheerleader outfit if I have to, but anything I can do to really encourage people to get on down and advocate. Any questions, concerns, anything? No? Okay. So I have my name and my contact information on that first slide. If you can think of any questions or concerns, I would love to answer them. And hopefully I'll see you guys on April 26th.
Thank you very much for your time, Kevin. We really appreciate it. And I will pass on your contact information to anybody looking for it.
Please do. I hope you send it on a loop in all of your messages, and really appreciate all your time, everybody. Have a great night.
Great. Thank you.